Good evening, everybody. My name's Kate Genovese. I'm the host of Table Talk, and this evening we have a very special guest. Her name is Padma Morel. She is a Reiki master and teacher, and we are going to hear all about Reiki, which is a form of hands-on healing. It's a different kind of modality, alternative medicine. So welcome, Padma.
Thank you.
Now, just tell me a little bit about yourself, like how you got involved in Reiki.
Well, 17 years ago, actually, I was working in a holistic bookstore in Arlington, Mass. And Reiki,
was that the Unicorn Bookstore?
Yes,
oh,
the old
nice.
Unicorn Bookstore.
Yeah.
And Reiki was just coming into everybody's consciousness at that time of hearing about it.
Mm-hmm.
So someone gave me a Reiki session, and I was so entranced and liked Reiki so much I decided to learn it. And I've been going ever since.
Oh, now I hear there's, because I did take Reiki myself. I'm a registered nurse, and for some continuing education courses I took Reiki, so I'm familiar with it. I've done Reiki 1 and 2. So it's a wonderful feeling. Can you describe a little bit, though, what Reiki, what it means?
Well, the word Reiki means universal life consciousness or universal life energy. So the Rei means the universal, and the Ki, it means is energy. So in another language, it would be prana or chi or ki, but it all means the same thing. So it's universal life force.
Okay, so when you put your hands on somebody, it's your cells, you're combining with each other, and the healing process begins.
Right. What I'm doing is connecting the person that I'm working on, connecting their life force to the universal life force, which is Reiki, which is a form of energy vibration.
Right. And it's not a form of a religion.
No, it's not a religion at all. You don't have to believe in anything to experience and get the benefits of Reiki.
Right. Now, have you had clients come in that haven't really, they're doubtful, and do you have to believe that it's really going to work for it to work?
The person coming in to receive Reiki doesn't have to believe in it at all, because the Reiki, being universal life consciousness, works independently of the person's mind. So it just flows and connects with the body, and the healing process begins. And that's it.
Yeah.
The person just relaxes.
Just relaxes. Now, I know I've had a Reiki treatment before, and it's just amazing. You kind of go into like a deep form of sleep. What is that called?
Well, what happens for some people is they come in and they're stressed and they're anxious, and they really need to release that, so they're sort of revved up. And when they lay on the table and this vibration called Reiki begins to flow, their body just kind of totally relaxes, and they sort of fall into this altered state. They're aware of what's going on. They're not, although some people, if they're really, really exhausted, might fall asleep.
Yeah.
But mostly they're just kind of in that state where they're aware of what's going on, and their body is just releasing a lot of the stress and tension.
And a very nice feeling. And do you use your hands in different areas of the body? Do you start on the head or the shoulders, or whatever you kind of assess what's going on with the client?
There is, for a first session, I usually start out with the head, and I'll do some positions there. It's just a light, gentle touch of my hands, and the vibration begins to flow, and then I'll work on the torso, and then the person will turn over and I'll work on the back of them. And the person does stay clothed the whole time, just laying on a massage table.
Well, that's good to know for people, that you do stay clothed. I mean, it's not like having a massage and, so you're very private. That's nice. That's nice.
Very much so.
Now, Reiki, can you just tell us where it came from, though? Is it Japanese?
It is Japanese. It was discovered in 1922 by a man named Mikao Usui, who was born in Kyoto, Japan. And his whole life he had been interested in different forms of energy healing, and he always felt that there was some way that there could be a connection between the person's own individual healing and the universe's healing. So again, in 1922 he discovered Reiki, and he felt that it was something that the world needed to know about.
Wow. And do you think that he was a pretty spiritual person, not religious, but spiritual in his own right?
He was spiritual in his own right. He was a meditator. He did practice Buddhism from a small child because that's what his family did. But it didn't really have anything to do with the discovery
It's
of
separate.
Reiki in that sense. It's separate, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I know because I recently had read something about the Catholic Church, was kind of against Reiki, and I was saying, why? It's such a nice feeling, and biblically, all through the Bible, there's, all sorts of healers that, Christ healers all through it, and so I don't know why they'd be upset. It's not like you're trying to be God and practice God.
Right, not at all.
Not
in
one
any
single
shape,
bit.
manner, and form. And that brings up two good points. Number one is I am not telling Reiki where to go or what it should do or how much Reiki the person should receive. It's working. I'm the conduit for the Reiki energy. So when I put my hands on a person, the Reiki vibration just begins to flow and flows into the person, knows exactly where to go and what to do. It's working with the person's own life force. And for the Catholic Church, my understanding from all that I've read, they really did not go and get a Reiki session. So they really...
Yeah. I think they were misinformed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Nothing against them at all.
No.
It's a wonderful faith.
No.
But I do believe they were misinformed because it's not like we're trying to take that practitioners are trying to take the place of God by any means.
Not at all. And I do think that they were misinformed, and if they could have some correct information, it would make a difference in how they feel.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. Now, I heard that you recently at the Heart to Heart at Country Club Heights, you were there for the seniors and people. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Heart to Heart is done once a year, and it's for the seniors who live there and also for people that come out from the community, and they have many different practitioners there for different things. And myself and someone else was there for doing Reiki, and people would come into our little cubicles and they'd get about 15 or 20 minutes of Reiki. I'd usually work on their shoulders or their head, and just to give them the experience of what Reiki was. And people
Do you think
love
they were
it.
pretty open to it?
Very much so. Even if they didn't know anything about it, after that 15 or 20 minutes, they were like, wow, this is pretty special.
Yeah, now my aunt was there. I heard that you gave Reiki to Lillian one time.
I did, and she was impressed.
She was impressed.
Yes, she was.
And there was, I heard, she told me that there was somebody there that thought that they asked what all that heat was all about. When you put your hands on, they said, what's that heat? Who's putting that heat on my body?
I did. I had someone who actually said to me, where is this heat coming from? Because the vibration coming through my hands, it's warm, and it's not my energy. It has nothing to do with me. It's just the Reiki vibration. So they feel it as warmth in their bodies as it's doing its healing work.
Wow, that's incredible. Anybody else that you can mention? Was it there somebody who had a headache and they thought the headache went after the treatment? I think I heard that.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
the
did.
headache.
And not this year, but the year before, I had this woman who, I don't know how old she was, 60s or 70s, and she had been a whack in the service way back when. And so she came in and she was like very straight-laced, and I want to experience this, and she laid down on the table, and when I was done, excuse me, she sat up and she went, wow! That was great!
So something happened.
Yes,
That's wonderful.
yes.
And you don't always have to lie down. For those that can't lie on a table, you can sit and...
You can sit.
Yeah, and in a few minutes we're going to ask somebody in the audience if they'd like to come up. But I just wanted to read, you have a great website, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And people can easily sign up for a treatment through the website. I think your name is on it. And one of the testimonials, somebody wrote, I began receiving Reiki treatments from Padma 10 years ago due to chronic neck pain. What I did not know at the time is that Reiki would not only take away the pain, but would begin to treat my whole body. I have healed so many subtle physical ailments as well as emotional blockages. Padma's wisdom and intuitive approach are soothing to both my body and spirit. The effects of Reiki have been life-changing and have helped me to be better at what I do every day, which is to help teenagers grow up safe and healthy. This is somebody, a school psychologist from Watertown. So that's just amazing, you know, healing through that many levels and emotional blockages. Can you explain that a little bit? Is that like the chakras that run through your body, or the chi? Is that what they call it?
I think the best way I can describe it is if you fell off a bike and you hurt yourself really badly, and it leaves a little trauma emotionally, so that when you think of getting on your bike the next time, you're like, oh, I don't know, I fell and I really hurt myself so badly the last time, I don't know if I want to do this. When you receive a Reiki treatment, the Reiki releases that trauma that's been stuck in the emotional body. It just drifts off and it's gone. So in that sense, you're healed. And so when you go to get on the bike, you don't have that fear. It's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's emotionally as well as physically, and it works mentally too. For people that are really stressed and their mind just goes round and round and round, Reiki goes in and just calms it down.
Can you just, before we get somebody from the audience, can you just give us one more example of somebody that has come to you for any specific illness that you may have helped, or helped through pain, like abdominal pain or arthritic pain?
Yes, I've had people come in for arthritis, and it definitely makes a difference. It releases the pain. What happens is, on an energetic level, the life force of the person can get stuck in certain areas, and it crystallizes, and that can eventually physically will turn into arthritis. So Reiki goes in, this vibration, and begins to move off the energy that hasn't been moving, that's stagnated there for a while, and releases it.
Yeah.
It's also great for people that are going in for surgery. In fact, many hospitals offer Reiki now. They'll come into your room and offer you a little bit of Reiki. They have Reiki volunteers before the surgery, and it releases the stress so that the body is calmer for the surgery. And then after the surgery, they'll come in, and it helps you to heal faster.
Well, that's great that hospitals are becoming so open-minded about an alternative medicine. And I've heard that when people are going in for surgery, and you probably know this, that they need less anesthesia.
Yes, yes, because they're calmer, so they don't need as much to, you know, keep them.
Yeah. I had a friend that had Reiki done before she had some surgery at Winchester Hospital. And honest to God, true story, when I went in to see her, he came out and he said, you know, I had to give her very little anesthesia. Who was that person who did Reiki on her? So it was kind of, wow, you know, people are catching on. That's wonderful.
It is.
So would you mind doing a little Reiki on somebody from the audience if we have a volunteer?
No, that would be great.
Would anybody like to?
I will.
Oh, okay. Come on up.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my hands on her shoulders, all right? She's sitting in a chair, and sometimes I might start on the head for a person. Usually I do. Usually I start out on the head, and I'll do 5 or 10 minutes in that area, and then I'll move on to another area. So we'll just work with the shoulders here.
So it doesn't matter how much hair you have, no more.
Doesn't matter. No. Or
anybody
how many
can have a thick head of hair.
Absolutely,
Wonderful.
absolutely. You could have on a winter coat, and the Reiki would penetrate.
Wow. So I'm wondering if it would work like with patients, because I'm a visiting nurse, if it would work with patients that have wounds.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, when you think about it, it probably could.
Yeah, you want to work, if she had a wound that had just got a cut, I would work right around it, and that would help to reduce the swelling and immediately begin to heal the area. So if it would last a week normally, it might heal in a few days. It depends. You never really know with Reiki exactly what's going to happen, but Reiki can only work for the best.
Right.
I have a question. Are your hands usually this warm?
This warmth that you're feeling is not my energy. This actually is the vibration, the pulsation of Reiki. And your body is pulling it in. I'm the conduit, and your body's pulling it in and using it to help you to function the way that you should.